What's going on? Today we're doing Overpass. Overpass is a popular machine from TryHackMe, and actually it is a cool machine where we go over OWASP top 10 during the exploitation phase, and then in the privilege escalation phase we look for a cron job, and we then modify the cron job, host a script on our side, download the script onto the machine, and escalate the privileges. So it's kind of cool machine. I recommend that. So we start by deploying the machine, and we have only two questions. We need to retrieve the user and the root flag. So basically I have done the nmap scan. As you can see, it's a typical machine where you have two open ports, 22 and 80. Now if you navigate to the IP address, so let's forget about that. I'm gonna close that. Okay, so when you enter, you have a page that offers a password manager, and this password manager can be downloaded by going to downloads, and you can try it out by downloading according to your operating system, or you can inspect the source code. But none of that is relevant to the challenge. So the next step for us is to take a look at the page source and see what do we have. So we have a comments here. Yeah, right, just because the Romans used it doesn't make it military grade. Change this. So here it is talking about the encryption of the password manager, as I guess, and maybe it's suggesting you to break the encryption somehow, but I don't think we're gonna be able to do that in the challenge. So I'm gonna X on this, and here, new tab. So we fire directory search, sudo go buster. That URL is fine, except we're gonna cancel the extension lookup, and we're gonna change this to big.txt if we have directory listing. So medium, let's try the medium out. And we change also the URL. Okay, there we go. So to avoid wasting time, I'm gonna leave that running. So what do we have here? Oh, the URL is wrong. So I'm gonna remove the extra HTTP. It's gonna give that a while, and I'm gonna skip directly to the page. Oh, okay, it's here. So the relevant page we need to discover is admin. So go to /admin. Yes, I think I need to close the browser and open again. That's not what it's supposed to see. I'm gonna click X on that and then open. Okay, let me take a look at the cookies, because I did that challenge before, and maybe I need to clear the cookies from here. Storage. All right, now it's gonna work. Or let me do it in incognito mode. Yeah, okay, this is fine. Alright, so when we go to /admin, we see a login form. In the login form, we have many stuff to try out. The brute force, the SQL injection. You're free to practice on your own. But we are here in the business of saving time. So you're gonna click on view page source. So take a look at the form. It's normal form. If you take a look at the sources here, or the assets, you have main, you have login, and you have cookie. So if you inspect the login script, download that to your machine and open it, I'm gonna use my machine to inspect the script. Open with mousepad. So this is the login script. Now the interesting part in this script is this part. Starts at the async function login. So this is the function responsible for the login process. So you see we have three variables: username, password, and login status. Now if you take a look at the crits variable, it combines both the username and the password. And then we have the response, which corresponds to the path apt login. And the interesting part starts here. You see we have a variable called status or cookie. A status or cookie receives or is assigned the value of the response you get after the login. So if you logged in with correct credentials or with incorrect credentials, you will receive a response in text. That response will be assigned to the variable status or cookie. Now we have an if statement. In the if statement here, or if condition, we have if and else. So the first one, if a status or cookie, meaning if the response that you get equals to incorrect credentials. As you can see, login status, which is here, text content equal incorrect credentials, password value. So here, this statement for if your login failed. Now, if you are successful in logging into your account, here you have the else statement executes. So it's gonna set the cookie value or the session token, right, to status or cookie. That's the interesting part. Now, what does that mean? It means anything other than incorrect credentials, okay, as a response text will be the value of your cookie or the session token. Imagine how is that dangerous. So, and here as you can see, window.location equals /admin. So this assigns you the cookie of your own user. So for example, if you log in with username and password such as test, and test was a user registered in the system, you will be able to log in, right? Now, the statement that you receive after you log in is the value of your cookie. So this means whatever we put in the, if you create a new cookie now, all right, session token, and we name it anything other than incorrect credentials, we will be able to see the /admin. That is the broken authentication, OWASP top 10. So there is no validation on the cookie here, right? So there should be a line here saying that if the status or cookie equals to something, or maybe kind of whitelist or blacklist, whatever, just there needs to be some sort of input validation here that validates the value of the status or cookie. Okay, that's how we protect against any kind of broken authentication attacks. Now, here is a vulnerable code, so we're gonna do our job and exploit that code. So how do we do that? Go back. Now we knew we are in the admin, right? So what we're about to do here, we have to create a new cookie. So we can inspect the element in the browser developer console, and we go to storage. In the storage, we have got the cookies. In here, we can hover over the plus icon and create a new cookie. A new cookie now has been created. Now you have the chance to modify on that. Now the name of the cookie should correspond. Let me open that again. The name of your cookie should be equal to status or cookie, right? That's the variable that holds the value of the cookie. So we go back, paste. All right, next. Now the path, set the path to /. We want the cookie to cover all the site. Now here the value, type anything you want. I'm gonna put that to an empty value, and then X, refresh. Oops, doesn't work. Let's take a look again. Go to storage, status or cookie. Let's take a look again. Oh, it's the, wait, let's see. It is the session token actually, not the status or cookie, right? Because the status or cookie is actually assigned to the response text. So we need to play with the session token here. Okay, now it should work after we remove the incorrectly placed double quotes. Refresh, and now we get access to the administrator area. That's an example of broken authentication. Now there is another way to do that, of course. So what we can do here, we can fire up Perp Suite, all right, fake or hatch a kind of login request. We test or test as username, test as password, and we receive incorrect credentials as a response. We change the response from incorrect credentials to anything you want, and you will get access to the administrator area. It's the same. Now take a look at the SSH key here. So you see it's encrypted AES 128. So you're gonna take the private key, and after that, what's that? Okay, this is the directory search. Now, so I put the private key in a file called IDRSA, and I used SSH to John. This is the command, SSH to John, just to put the private key in a hash, and then we're going to use John the Ripper to crack the hash. So John, instead I'm going to modify on the file, input file going to be equal to hash. So this is the password for the private key. Now we will give the private key the correct permissions. So now SSH-I IDRSA and James as the login username. So we get the IP here. Type in yes. The password, here you got the password. Okay, now we're logged in as James. So let's take a look around and see what do we have on this machine. ls. So we have user.txt, which is the first flag. And then I have a note here, cat todo. So here, to-do list, update overpass encryption. Your land has been complaining that it is not strong enough. So this is the same note, or actually similar note we saw on the when we inspected the page source. We saw a similar note about weak encryption. Write down my password somewhere on a sticky note so that I don't forget it. Wait, we make a password manager. Why don't I just use that? Take test overpass for Mac OS. It builds fine, but I'm not sure it actually works. Ask Paradox how he got the automated build script working and where the builds go. They are not updating on the website. So the takeaway from this file is this line. Ask Paradox how he got the automated build script. So there is a build script working on a regular basis on this machine. So it is automated, right? And we need to find that. Most of the time automated scripts can be found in the cron tab. They run as cron jobs. So cat etc cron tab. Okay, so in the cron tab, indeed we find a cron job running as the root user. And what it does, it just sends a request to the website overpass.thm, specifically under the download source directory, where it asks to retrieve the build script.sh and then pipes that to bash. Okay, so what do you need to do here? There is nothing to modify on the local machine. I mean, most of the time when we have a cron job running a script on the local machine, we always look to modify the script or parts of the script, right? But this time the script actually is requesting something from the website itself. So our only chance is to create a similar script, or a script that holds the same name of build-script.sh. We host the script in our web server with a similar directory structure, but still we won't be able to take advantage of that, because the script here still, or the cron job still requests the script here from the overpass.thm. So how do we, the question here, how do we make the cron job request our own script in our own web server? The answer is we need to make the cron job requests our IP address. This means I need to trick the target machine into thinking that overpass.thm is actually my IP address. How do I do that? In the host file. But unfortunately, the host file 90% of the time is configured sometimes it's configured to have strong permissions. So regular users like James or any other user cannot modify on this file. But let's take our chances. So let's take a look here. ls/la/etc grep host. Alright then. So this is the host file, and these are the permissions. The owner is the root user, and the group owner is root. But you see here, the group, everyone here can read and write. This is the problem. Everyone can write on this file, which means James is included. He's no exception, right? So let's take a look at the host file, cat etc hosts. And here we go. Overpass.thm is assigned to be, or to have, the local IP address of the machine. If we change that to our IP address and create a directory structure similar to this one with the same script name, we will be able to run our own script. Okay then, so let's split that left and right. Take a note of my IP address. So this is my IP address, the correct one. Why do I have so many interfaces? Okay, so this is the IP address that we need to use here. So nano etc host. So change this and save it. Make sure changes have been saved. Exactly. Now let's go back to my machine and create a similar directory structure. So if you want to launch the web server from this directory, then you have to create the structure inside this directory. So make directory downloads, cd downloads. Now inside downloads we create make directory source, cd source, and inside this we build the script nano build. Okay, build script. Alright, so what do we put here? Indeed, we're gonna put reverse shell. Simple as that. Let's see reverse shells here. Right, okay. I'm gonna use the netcut one. It always works. Okay. Alright, so here use 4545. And of course, this will be your IP address. Let's see here. Where is... Okay, this is the IP address. Alright. Save. And now, the last step is to fire Python web server. Sudo Python 3. And on a new tab, we're gonna fire a listener. 5. Okay. Let's see now. I think it's not gonna work. Wait. So here the port I'm using on the web server is 8000. This will not work here. Okay, this will not work. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go to cd var html, and right inside here I'm gonna create the same directory structure, because in the script here the port is 80, not 8000. So downloads, I understand now. So sudo systemd, let's change the ownership of that to my user. HTML. Okay then. So cd HTML, make directory downloads, cd downloads, make and name it source, then cd back to source, and then copy the script here. So our script that we made is here. We're gonna copy that /build, and then we copy it to the directory of the default Apache web server. Ls, that is our script now. Now we're gonna give Apache a restart. Okay. Now we should receive the reversal after a while. And after waiting for a while, we receive, as you can see, the connection back. Now let's see who we are. We are the root user. Now let's see where we are. Okay, cat root. So here you go, the challenge is done. It was a cool challenge actually, I like that. Okay, let's join the list here and submit the flag. So that was it. See you in the next video.